Alrighty. Welcome everybody to the fifth episode of P Lake Wrestling. And as always, we got another stack card. Let's get to that before we get to some PLW news. In our opening contest, we have a return match from our last episode of PLW, episode 4, as Sam Buchanan takes on CT Courtney with Brady Thompson in her corner. In our second match, we have the debuting Shawn McGavin facing off against the Elbows of Stone Yamashita. In our third contest, we have Brady J. Thompson making his way out again, but this time he's going to be facing Spencer Anderson. In our main event, which we told you about last week, Adrian Hicks looking to get some revenge versus John Hart in another infamous John Rules match after John threw Adrian's brother Aiden into tacks multiple times just to get the 1, 2, 3. So Aiden's looking to get some revenge here in our main event here tonight. But before we get started, we got some PLW news to take care of and state. As we stated in our last episode, the next time we come to you with PLW action will be at our first pay-per-view event, Purple Haze. So far, we have multiple matches set for Purple Haze, one of those matches being a match between Hunter Smith and PAT, both men looking to achieve their first victory here in PLW as they are both currently 0-3. Who's going to walk out of Purple Haze with their first victory? And, well, we'll have to see. Another match set for PLW Purple Haze is the debut of a new superstar just signed last week, as we mentioned, to PLW. Who's going to be debuting at Purple Haze, and what will the impact be on the future of PLW? We'll have to find out. Also at our first pay-per-view event, we will also see the return match from our first episode of PLW as T-Rob faces off against his demented grandfather, the White Grandpa. And as you saw right before, after our main event of our last episode, right before we went off the air, we saw a heated exchange between White Grandpa and T-Rob. White Grandpa was furious after taking a loss to the debuting Brady J. Thompson. And T-Rob came out to show his displeasure that his grandpa still hasn't accepted his apology for accidentally herniating one of the discs in his back as a result of the super tray bottom used to win the first match ever in PLW history. We spoke to T-Rob after the incident last episode in the back. He said they tried to get his grandpa to back out of the match at Purple Haze for his own health and well-being. And he also stated that he hasn't wanted Grandpa to be competing at all, but Grandpa has been insistent in wrestling despite PLW medical staff's wishes. T-Rob has stated that if that's how it's going to be, then that's how it's going to be. And families have spats like that sometimes, and this is how things get resolved between them. And T-Rob did send a message out to the White Grandpa right before leaving the area to go, light up one of his famous doinks that he likes to smoke all the time by saying that the White Grandpa better not be complaining after Purple Haze because he's going to bring out all of the smoke for White Grandpa. We asked for some comments soon after from the White Grandpa regarding those words that T-Rob spoke in the back, and he said, "What a bunch of times," and said that's a bunch of BS and malarkey, and that at Purple Haze, T-Rob was going to go back in time. And why did he say that? He said because he's going to whip T-Rob just like he used to when he was younger, when he did something wrong as a kid. He also stated that he may be old, what, crazy, what, and deranged, what, but he's the one that introduced T-Rob to wrestling in the first place back in '97. So he's going to be taking all of his knowledge since watching wrestling in the 60s as a youngster to open up a new can of whoop ass on T-Rob, stomp a mud hole in him, and walk it dry, and that's the bottom line because the white grandpa said so. Another rematch set for Purple Haze from the first episode of PLW. In the main event, as Sawyer Catterall makes his return to PLW for the first time since the first episode after he was concussed and bludgeoned by his tag team partner of the Dab Bros, John Hart, as they face off in a John Rules match where anything is legal. Can Sawyer get sweet, sweet revenge and give John what's coming to him? And will Sawyer even be 100%? We'll have to wait and see. Also in PLW news, we also have a follow-up to the Masked Man situation. Obviously, this man, whoever he is, already attacked Quincy Quirkwalk, sending him through a table, which he broke a vertebrae in his neck because of. Aaron Whiteman is also attacked, sucker punched from behind as he was opening his trunk and then getting scooped up and slammed on that same exact car trunk. And unfortunately for the Masked Man, Aaron wasn't completely taken out like he had planned. And now Aaron's pissed off. As we stated last week, Aaron wants to get his hands on this masked assailant and kick his pussy ass, as he eloquently put it to us. Unfortunately, us at PLW couldn't sanction a match with a masked man who just shows up randomly out of the shadows. And we weren't even sure if he would even show up for a match. But as we head into the PLW warehouse for this taping, our upper management was delivered a letter, and in that letter, that was constructed like a ransom note with the magazine, letters chopped out and placed pasted on the piece of paper. Not sure, why someone's reading a magazine nowadays, but that's besides the point. But I'd like to take some time to read this here. And it states, Aaron Whiteman wants a match with me, then that's what he'll get. And it'll be hell to pay. This time, he's coming to finish the job, is what he said. And to make this public execution even more interesting, if he loses, he says he'll grab that ball hugger, stomp his face into the mat, and then, just for good measure, he will unmask on the next episode of PLW after the pay-per-view event if he loses against Aaron Whiteman. And so, it has been made official by our PLW booking team. So also at PLW, Purple Haze, we will see the Masked Man versus Aaron Whiteman as the former basketball player of the Golden State Warriors takes on the man who tried to put him out of wrestling for good in the dangerous, ominous Masked Man. And what a match that will be. And that concludes our PLW news for this week. So let's hop down to ringside as we await our opening contest for this 5th episode of PLW. Live from the P Lake warehouse. Get set for our opening contest here. And here comes Sam Buchanan. And as we said, this is a return match from our last episode of PLW and the first ever women's match of PLW. And that match was very back and forth, as obviously both these women have been fighting each other for years, both hitting in their finishing maneuvers, but both able to get their shoulders up before the referee's 3 count. In the end, though, it would be Sam Buchanan, this woman heading to the ring currently, that would hit the Sam Cannon second time on CT Courtney to get the 1, 2, 3 to win the first ever women's contest here in PLW. Sam stated before tonight's show rather, that her strategy is the same as it is every night, and that's to be her best in that squared circle. Will the daughter of Bull Buchanan be able to get her second victory here in PLW? We'll find out here in the next coming minutes. As here comes CT Courtney alongside Brady Thompson. Here comes CT Courtney, the conspiracy theorist expert herself, being accompanied to the ring by Brady J. Thompson. Both plan to make wrestling great again by any means necessary. But unfortunately for her last week, CT Courtney couldn't make that happen with the conspirator. But looking tonight to make up for that wrong here in this rematch tonight. But we talked to CT Courtney before tonight's festivities started, and she essentially said that last week was a fluke, and she actually won last week's match because Sam Buchanan cheated to win, in her own words. But she's looking to win here again tonight, in her own words, and go 2-0 in PLW. And she's going to do whatever it can to accomplish Brady Thompson's dream of making wrestling great again as we get ready for the bell. Obviously, CT Courtney didn't win the match last week. She's actually 0-1, but leave it to Brady Thompson to tell her exactly what she wants to hear. She's living in a twisted view of her own perceived reality, and combine that with her selfishness and sore loser mentality, that's a complete recipe for disaster as we get a roll up here, a count of 1 and a kick out. Nonetheless, CT Courtney does have a 50% chance to win this match here tonight, so maybe she can join in Brady's winning ways. As Brady picked up oh my gosh, what a spine buster. Just picking up Sam like it was nothing. Got some elbows. As we stated, Brady did get the win here last week in PLW in our main event. And he'll be in singles competition here in our third match of this episode. We'll be talking more about him, but obviously he's in CT Courtney's corner tonight, making sure that she gets the W. Going for a springboard moonsault as Sam Buchanan misses. Courtney moved out of the way, throws her into the corner, big punches here, and a headbutt. Running for some momentum and just shoving that big tuchus into her face, which is, sure that hurt Sam's jaw. She might be a little dazed here. Not sure what CT Courtney was going for, but as she heads up, she goes for an elbow drop and took too much time as Sam gets out of the way. Courtney smashing her elbow into the canvas, that's gotta hurt. Courtney reverses that Irish whip attempt into the corner, sending Sam into the corner, and Sam just throwing now Courtney to the outside. But Brady Thompson doing his best to distract Courtney. There's a lot of jaw jacking going on here. And he just blew Brady Thompson a kiss. No, don't do this. Oh my gosh. Right on that concrete floor. Does Sam, I saw in the last episode, she hit CT Courtney with that impaler DDT on the outside, which probably, it definitely helped her to achieve the win here on our last episode, but Sam playing coy, hitting that neck breaker right off the ropes and gets a 2 count out of it. Courtney's got her now and just throws her by the hair. As we said, her and Brady are going to do anything necessary to get the win. As she caught Sam flipping and hits that pump handle power slam, shoving her back into the canvas and only getting a 2 count out of it. Sam showing her resiliency here tonight. Going for another cover, but ref, she's got her foot on the ropes. But Sam able to kick out. Multiple shots here, now a bear hug. Trying to weaken down Sam. Looking for that conspirator later in the match. That modified version of the spear. Sam's fighting back now, gets those double chops up to the ear and comes off the ropes and hits CT Courtney with that clothesline. But once again, Sam getting distracted by Brady. Off the ropes, Sam reverses it. Go for a forearm strike, gets reversed again. Look at the power of CT Courtney, the powerhouse of the women's division, just picking up Sam with ease, overhead pressing her, and just dropping her with that gorilla press slam. Now working on that leg, it's going to be harder for Sam to use the sand cannon for that leg is injured. Once again getting scooped up by Courtney on the shoulders and a Samoan drop. And we might be heading for the end here, folks. The conspirator hits into the cover, hooking the far leg, 1, 2, but Sam getting that shoulder up. Once again showing the resiliency as she showed in the first women's match in PLW last week. Able to once again get that shoulder up, and Brady Thompson's not happy, and CT Courtney isn't happy. He's got her up for that hook and ladder and just throwing her down. Telling her to get up. The CT Courtney maneuvering Sam towards that ropes, hitting her against the ropes, but what a maneuver by Sam, able to get that shift her weight, sending CT Courtney out to the outside again. And no, let's do this. Oh my gosh! Hammerlock DDT right on the outside. As we said many times before, folks, those aren't mats. Those are just tarps on the floor, just covering concrete. So CT Courtney just got, what the hell? Just got dropped on her head. Going for an axe handle to Sam, but Courtney had made her way back into the ring, dropping another hair mare, looking to drop all that body weight against Sam, but Sam maneuvers, now dragging CT Courtney into the middle of the ring, going for a cover, but only getting a 1 count. But I'm surprised it wasn't in after that DDT on the outside, and oh my Jesus. I think Courtney got out of the way of that sliding knee into the corner. Coming off the rope and hitting Courtney with that arm drag. Off the ropes goes Sam, and there's a Sam cannon out of nowhere. Into the cover. Does she have her here? It might be it. 1, 2. And once again, both women kicking out of each other's finishers. Just like last episode. Who's going to be able to get the advantage and put the other woman away here? We'll have to see. Off the ropes, dropping down. Courtney showing that maneuverability for being such a bigger woman. Jesus, there's a backstabber. Right to the back. That's not going to help your mobility. Off the ropes again. Rolling into a cutter, or a code breaker, excuse me. Once again into the cover. 1, 2. And once again, Courtney getting that shoulder up. I'm surprised. Oh, what the hell is this? Another Sam Cannon out of nowhere, jumping off the back and just landing with all of her weight across the head. And once again, CT Courtney showing that resiliency, able to get that shoulder up at 2.5. What's going to have to be done to put CT Courtney away? Oh, she has no brains, so she knows you know, when not to give up, and she won't take no for an answer. She's going to keep fighting until she gets that win to make wrestling better again. Sam heading up top now. And a big splash, crushing the ribs of CT Courtney into the cover. 1, 2, and a 3. Sam Buchanan getting the second win here tonight. In our second women's match of PLW, she goes 2-0 here in PLW. As we check out some highlights, this is a very back and forth matchup, just like our match from last week. And honestly, I thought CT Courtney may have had it here, because she hit two of the pump handle slams. But what a maneuver by Sam, setting up for that Sam Cannon right as CT Courtney was able to get up, and this is the coup de grace. Big splash off the top, covering all her weight against the shoulders of CT Courtney for the 1, 2, and 3, and Sam Buchanan is your winner once again here this week on PLW in our 5th episode. What a match for Sam Buchanan. What will the future hold for Sam Buchanan? The daughter of Bull Buchanan. We'll have to wait and see here in the upcoming weeks. As we get set for our second contest of the night. As we see the debuting Shawn McGavin taking on Yamashita. Hold on 1 second. Alright. Let's head down to ringside for our second contest of tonight. Here comes the debuting Shawn McGavin from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Damn, he's just blowing our pyro budget right here in his debut. Looking to make a good impression on the management here in PLW, but also, as he stated, looking to make his family proud as well. But he's got a hard task in front of him, and the elbows of stone. But as has been said before, anything can happen in pro wrestling, so we may just see an upset here tonight, just like we saw with Princey Quickrock. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, we may just see an upset here tonight, just like we saw with Princey Quickrock when he beat Vincent Van Gooch in our second episode after he just walked off the street. And here comes Yamashita. Yamashita is a Dane, using the elbows of stone as his game. So far, very successful here in PLW, as he's currently 2-0 after he beat PAT in a finisher match on the first episode, and Spencer Anderson in a regular singles match on the third episode of PLW. Looking to go 3-0 here as we get set for our second contest of the night. But the SMG looking to make his mark here in PLW. So we'll see how this contest goes in the next coming minutes. Of course, Yamashita always looking to utilize that spinning back fist and that Boris bomb, which has won him many a match in his time in pro wrestling. The man from the rising sun. As we get set for the bell. There it is. And right out the gate, Shawn McGavin taking it to Yamashita with that STO, or the crossface. Yamashita coming back with that quick cover and a kick out by Shawn McGavin, the SMG. And there's the elbows of stone here, right out the gate of this match. And we got some more. And drops a 6th elbow. As we stated before, those are like dropping cinder blocks onto your chest. And Shawn's not in a good way. Right at the beginning of his debut match here. Gets a kick to the midsection, does Shawn. Dragging Yamashita into the ropes. What's he looking for here? Oh, geez. The high-flying ability of this young man as he goes for that, I don't know what you call that, maybe a springboard hurricanrana. But Yamashita taking control back of this matchup, hitting that backdrop suplex, the released version. Setting up SMG in a fireman's carry position, but SMG getting out of the way and hitting that reverse DET, driving Yamashita's skull into the back of the canvas. And now just raining down those fists into the chin. But it'll take more than that to put away the elbows of stone. Yamashita coming back now with that dragon screw leg whip. Going for maneuver, and Shawn gets that enziguri in right to the top of the head, knocking Yamashita down again. Getting an arm bar here now. Fujiwara. Yamashita showing his quickness and nesting prowess to get that knee in. There's a Northern Light suplex for the 1, the 2, and a kick out at 2. Shawn looking for some reprieve here. Gets it, hits that forearm, catching Yamashita, slipping it. Oh, Jesus! What a Canadian destroyer out of nowhere. Once again, throwing Yamashita on that top of the head. That's the story of this matchup here. And once again, hitting that, maybe an Arabian press hurricanrana? I'm not sure what you call that. And there's a standing drop kick. Jesus, that's probably the best drop kick that we've seen here in PLW so far. This kid obviously knows what he's doing. Going off the rope, springboarding, hitting that drop kick, going up top here now. I've been pretty impressed with Shawn so far. Taking it to Yamashita, and there's a spinning arm drag off the top of the rope. Going for an elbow drop, but Yamashita gets out of the way. Shawn once again taking control. Snap mirroring and just kicking bluntly, just hard to the back of Yamashita's back. And there's a flying forearm. Once again catching Yamashita in the chin. He may be out on his feet here, but SMG locking in that single leg Boston Crab, but crucifix now by Yamashita. 1, 2. Shawn just able to get that shoulder up right at 2. And there's a big lariat from the elbows of stone. Just cleaning Shawn's clock there. No, no. Jesus Christ. He just knocked Shawn McGavin out, I think. And he did. What a back fist from Yamashita as he gets the win here tonight. He didn't even have to pull out the Boris bomb for that. He just knocked him out on his... Jeez. He just knocked him out with one punch. That's why we call him the Elvis of Stone, ladies and gentlemen. Able to pull out all the stops here tonight as we get another look at that move that ended the match. Spinning in this, jeez, side of the fist right into the temple for the 1-2-3.
Here is your winner.
Yamashita is now 3-0 in PLW. Obviously, Yamashita is high on our priorities list here. He's one of the only men, I think, besides T-Rob and John Hart that have remained undefeated so far. What will the future hold for Yamashita? Maybe he'll get an illustrious title shot. Wink, wink. We'll be talking about that here within the next coming episodes. You would have to think that he would be in a contention for a title shot with how well he's been putting away people here in PLW. As we get set for our third contest of the night, we've got a mishmash, I'd say. The shorter and skinnier Brady Thompson. He's going to be taking on that 6'5", almost 300-pound Spencer Anderson. And even though Brady won his first contest here last week in the main event of PLW against the White Grandpa, he may have his hands full here tonight. As we head down to ringside, Brady J. Thompson making his way down to the ring here tonight. As he said, coming off his win last week in our main event in his first match in PLW, let alone his first match in almost a few years against the White Grandpa. Hitting that Ace Crusher not once, but twice to get the W. Making it one step closer to his new goal in life, which is making wrestling great again. And he stated last week that he won bigly over the White Grandpa, or that disgusting degenerate as he called him. But he said that's probably the biggest win in PLW history so far. That last part is debatable in PLW management's eyes, but nonetheless, Brady J. Thompson looking to go 2-0 here in PLW as Spencer Anderson makes his way down to the ring. The man from the nightclub scene. Brady's got big competition here in Spencer Anderson. One of the best bouncers in the nightclub industry. Well, tonight he's going to have to do some clubbing of his own. Just in a different sense. He has the tools and the advantages to get the job done here tonight. He's 6'5" and almost 300 pounds, which is almost a 100-pound weight advantage over Brady, as well as a major height advantage, measuring probably 9 inches taller than Brady. As we saw last week, he can take and deliver lots of punishment. He shrugged off an apple juice adjustment onto a table edge and a PAT destroyer from PAT, and was still able to pick up PAT with ease and slam him through a table, leading to that victory for him in that tables match. But right out the gate, a shot from Anderson taking Brady Thompson down. And just taking it to Brady Thompson. showing why he was one of the best bouncers in the nightclub scene. He's kicking Brady's ass so far. But tonight, he's got to take it to the much smaller Brady Thompson, hoping to go 2-1 here in PLW, excuse me, as Brady gets set on up in that top rope. This might be bad for him as Brady reverses it. He knew that was a bad spot to be in. Brady just gloating already, but as we saw, that didn't get him anywhere because Spencer Anderson just came back and just hit him right to the concrete floor with that headbutt to the gut. Those Doritos Locos Tacos may be coming up soon, and I'd rather not see that. But don't let the small frame of Brady fool you, folks, because Brady has many years of amateur as well as professional wrestling experience, but as Brady stated before, he's going to use anything necessary to get the wins here in PLW and on his journey to making wrestling great again. And a shot from Brady, trying to make a comeback, but right out of nowhere, just Spencer Anderson taking control again with that big boot again right to the mush of Brady. Going up and getting a sledgehammer right to the back. This isn't looking good for Brady. He hasn't had a lot of offense here. There's another sledge to the back. Another punch to the face, but Brady's still getting up. That shows his determination here. Got a claw to the back of the shoulder and just slamming Brady's face into the canvas. Brady's getting some reprieve there off the ropes. Comes back in, and there's another big boot. Going for a cover, but not electing to hook the far leg, and that cost him. Brady able to get that shoulder up very easily, even though he's been taking most of the punishment in this match. As he gets picked up with ease and just thrown like a sack of potatoes by Anderson. Obviously, Spencer Anderson used that move a lot, and we might have to get a better shot of this, but as Brady takes control, he might be busted open. Now he's going to work on the big man, taking that arm and just stomping on it. He said he'll use any means necessary to win. Stomping multiple times on the chest and body of Spencer Anderson. And those shots will take its toll, but obviously he's going to do a lot more than that. As Spencer Anderson once again takes control, picking him up in a power slam or power bomb position. Just throws him with the alley-oop. Face first in the canvas again. Brady's already got a cut on his head, so that's not going to be good. Off the ropes and into the corner. Brady coming back with that splash. Throwing all 180 pounds of him into Spencer Anderson. That might not be a lot in terms of weight, but once you have that amount of momentum and weight just thrown into your chest, it makes it harder to breathe. Got a 2 count here. Brady making it back into the ring. Spencer Anderson goes from behind, and Brady just clocks him with that elbow straight to the jaw. From behind, pump handle into a backbreaker. That'll send shockwaves down your spine, making it harder to walk. But Spencer Anderson, just like the movie monster he is, still walking. Brady's got him hooked to that pedigree. But Spencer Anderson not letting it happen. Hits that elbow and a slam back to the back of the neck of Brady. And once again using any tactics necessary as he just rakes Spencer Anderson across the rope, which, I mean, he does got to do everything that he can as he gets a shoulder up that too does Anderson. Because obviously, as we said, he's outmatched in every way here. Maybe not wrestling ability, and Jesus Christ! Brady's head just got slammed in the apron with that STO on the outside. He might be in a bad way here, folks. He might not be making wrestling great again. And just a big splash from Anderson into the cover. Once again, not hooking the far leg. We had a 1 and a 2, and Brady is getting that right or left shoulder up at 2.5 as the blood drains from that forehead of Brady, and Spencer Anderson may be looking to put him away. Oh, he's going for that corner pocket slam, trying to goozle Brady, but he got out of the way. Brady looking for that ace crusher. He moves out of the way, does Anderson. And there's multiple shots to the back of Anderson now. Clubbing blows. And a big lariat from Brady Thompson. Jesus, what a backdrop. He got all that weight of Anderson up, and there's a spine buster. Brady may be deceptively small, but he is strong. Going up top and dropping the fist. Right across the forehead. And he may be looking at end here, folks, with that ace crusher. There it is, the ace crusher. Cover, 1, 2, and a 3. Brady J. Thompson, your winner here tonight. 2-0 in PLW as he looks to make wrestling great again. And he's achieving, maybe not that, but he's definitely getting the wins, and he's been proving that he's able to hang here in PLW, even against bigger opponents, because he can hit that ace crusher out of nowhere, and it'll be the lights for you. As you see it again, hooking the chin and just driving Anderson face first into the canvas for the 1, the 2, and the 3. Big win for Brady Thompson. I honestly thought this match might have ended differently, but because of the size and just weight advantage, but Brady once again showing his amateur and professional wrestling experience with a win here tonight on our 5th episode of PLW. And unfortunately, we have to get ready for our main event here as we get set for the infamous John Rules match. And I'm just praying for a good outcome for Adrian Hicks, sorry, because he's going to be walking into hell here in a few minutes. As we get set up and at ringside for this despicable matchup. Let's send it down to ringside for our main event here. One half of the Hicks brothers, Adrian Hicks, looking to get some revenge on John Hart after his brother Aiden Hicks was slammed and smashed multiple times into a pile of thumbtacks set up by John himself on our 3rd episode of PLW in another infamous John Rules match. But Adrian looking to get his first win of PLW also after facing T-Rob on our 3rd episode also. Unfortunately for young Adrian Hicks, he may have bitten off more than he can chew as he faces John Hart in the sadistic John Rules match here in our main event. We were just inside somebody's mouth, I guess. Once again, another perfect shot from our PLW camera crew as John Hart gets ready to make his way down to the ring. And there's the sadistic man. But as we stated earlier, Adrian may have been maybe in for a rude awakening here tonight as he faces this man, John the Hammer Hart. as we've seen in all of these John Rules matches, this man shows no remorse and does sick and twisted and sadistic things to get the extra pay in his paycheck. Hell, he concussed his tag team partner and then smashed and destroyed Sawyer's ball sack with a sledgehammer, for God's sakes. If he does that to somebody he considers a friend, how do you think he's going to treat somebody he has no attachment to? But not only did he commit the injuries to Sawyer, Catterall, but he also fractured a rib of Michael Stevens in our second episode of PLW with that same sledgehammer he used to injure Sawyer. But hopefully, Aiden Hicks can come out of this match on the non-injured side of things. Aiden Hicks may have come out the best of the three people John's faced so far. Granted, he had about 24 thumbtacks stuck in his back that had to be painstakingly removed one by one as he sends John face first in the canvas with that bulldog. But at least Aiden isn't in the injured reserves list like all of John's other opponents, as he goes off the ropes and showing his mobility and springboarding off into a crossbody, sending all 270 pounds into the chest of skinny frame of Adrian Hicks. Taking a leg and just crushing it with all of his weight. Adrian's going to have a hard time walking here, but he's getting up slowly. John's stirring and going for maybe a flipping pile driver, a DDT, but Adrian shifts the weight and, oh Jesus, getting that back body drop off as John comes back with that spinning DDT, goes off the ropes looking to drop that weight again, but Adrian getting the better of it. Not sure what that was, a wheelbarrow roll of some kind. Just capturing John's face and slamming into the mat. And look at the agility of Adrian Hicks, just skinning the cat to be able to get in the ring. He's taking too much time, as we stated, and John took advantage of that, only getting a 1 count. But hopefully Adrian can come out of this as lucky as his brother did, as he gets hit with that scoop slam. Because, you know, once you compete in the John Rules match, you're never the same person again. Off the ropes and dropping that weight with that splash, as he intended to do earlier. This time connecting. Adrian's in a lot of pain here. Going for a springboard and going for a leg drop, it looked like, but Adrian is able to get out of the way. He's looking for some reprieve on the outside. Once again, skins the cat to get back into the ring, and just multiple forearm shots to the jaw of John. He might have a good chance here. Spinning wheel kick to the face. Sending the big man down to the canvas. And there's a swinging neck breaker, twisting the neck of John. He's got to stay on John if he wants to win this matchup. He might not even have to use those weapons that are under the ring, but he's going to, as he gets that same back of thumbtacks that John used on Aiden Hicks, and Adrian's just spreading them all out on the outside. Going for a neck breaker, and he just landed on those tacks. John's got multiple tacks in his back now. He's picking them out, trying to get some reprieve from that pain, and oh Jesus! John able to see that top rope elbow drop coming, and he just moved out of the way, and I think Adrian's elbow may be broken, as John gets another bag of thumbtacks and just spreads them all over the ring. Aiden seen the better of that, Adrian, my bad, seen the better of that, and knew he was in a bad way if he came in, so he caught John slipping, hits that elbow drop, going for a springboard maneuver, but John moves out of the way, and I think John's head was just laying in those thumbtacks. It just shows that he'll do anything to get the win here tonight. John getting hit with that, looked like a European uppercut, getting snap-mared and just getting an elbow straight to the back, a European uppercut it looked like, almost to the back of the neck and the spine. That'll take its toll here. John looking for some reprieve. It says this honestly is the most offense that somebody's gotten against John since that match against Michael Stevens. Once again setting up, and once again hitting that flatliner. Does Adrian. Taking John in the back. Not just biting on the hands and fingers. Anything's legal here. This is a hardcore rules match. Anything goes. Anything's legal. And that's what John uses to his advantage. But obviously, Adrian Hicks studied up a little bit. And has been able to, jeez. Look at the distance that he got off that springboard crossbody. And going for the cover and only getting a 2 out of it. I'm surprised John was able to get that shoulder up after all that weight just landed on him, and dropping the knee does Adrian Hicks right off that second rope. Right to the chin, right to the throat. He's got him here. Springboard bulldog. Once again, shoving John's face first into the canvas. Getting picked up here. Going for, oh jeez. John just playing possum there, it looked like, and a DDT for good measure now. 1. Yeah, John was playing possum there. He knew that Adrian was going to come off those ropes, so as soon as he came back, he exploded with that, well, that power that John has, and that 275-pound frame. The clothesline from John, and right to the nuts. And just dropping the leg right down again against the nutsack, and just kicking Adrian's face into nothing. And there's a John Ton bomb. That maneuver was the same maneuver that Aiden had done to him, which sent him to the tax for the last time in that last John Rules match. Jeez! Oh my lord. A springboard crossbody, and Adrian just bounced off those thumbtacks, and he's in a lot of pain right now. He's picking them all out of his body. And there's a springboard drop, or an elbow drop. Once again, setting Adrian into those tacks, and he's just laying on him now. John may be looking for some more plunder here, which is not a good sign for Adrian. Once again, getting another bag of thumbtacks. This man is sadistic. And oh my god, he caught him slipping. Jeez! Holy shit. Face first into the canvas, into those tacks. John's got a few tacks in his head. And a kick out. That just shows the hardcore match resiliency of John. Able to get that shoulder up after getting sent face first into a pile of tacks. That's all his doing, though. And Adrian just dumping all those tacks all over John's body. Now looking to do another springboard splash, and he got him. All those tacks going into both their bodies. The chests. Adrian just full of adrenaline. But this may be the end. John caught him slipping, hits that twist of hate cutter for the 1, the 2, and the 3 out of nowhere. What a match here in our main event. I honestly thought Adrian might have had it there. He's given those offense to John ever since Sawyer faced him. I thought he might have been able to pull off all the stops here tonight and beat John in his own match, but it wasn't meant to be. As we see that double nut shot right into the drop kick. John the Hammer Hart, your victor here tonight, and I thought this might have been it after that. I'd call it a spinning facebuster into that pile of tacks, and then that to springboard splash, crushing both of them with tacks, but obviously it hurt Adrian more because John was able to get up fairly quickly after that and hit that twist of fate. You can see the tacks just sticking out of John's skin all over his chest and his body and his head and his back. And he's barely flinching here. It's just crazy. Just crazy. So the stage is set for Purple Haze, which will be our next iteration of PLW action. We hope to see you all there for our first pay-per-view event, and we'll see you next time.